Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Breaking news minutes ago, a jury handed a verdict down in the retrial for two men charged with kidnapping, plotting to kidnap Governor Whitmer, and both men are found guilty. The two men were just convicted in the second trial, so let's get straight out to Sean Lay. He joins us now live from Grand Rapids with the breaking details on this verdict, Sean.
The verdict just came down just before the noon hour. You saw it live here on Local 4. Let's get right to it. Let's talk about Adam Fox, one of the defendants here, the man from Grand Rapids area. He has been found guilty by this jury of conspiring to kidnap the governor. That means agreeing with his co-conspirators to kidnap Governor Whitmer because of her COVID restrictions and orders during those COVID years early on in 2020. Also, the jury found him guilty of conspiring to use a weapon of mass destruction. That sounds like a huge bomb, but what it was a firework assembled with shrapnel to apparently take out a bridge on the way to the governor's summer cottage. The summer cottage was the target of this kidnapping. Also, a truck driver from Delaware. You've heard his name a lot. His name is Barry Croft. He is the co-defendant here. He also has been found guilty of conspiracy to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer, meaning agreeing to kidnap the governor. Doesn't mean you have to actually go through the process of trying to kidnap someone. The conspiracy to use the weapon of mass destruction, that firework that had those pennies and shrapnel attached to it. Also, for having that firework on him in his possessing an unregistered destructive device. Second time is the charm here for prosecutors. They tried these two along with two others here last spring. We were right here. The jury in that time found two not guilty of all charges. They could not come up with a verdict for Croft and Fox. Here, this new jury on a retrial does come up with a verdict. Right behind us here, we'll be speaking with the attorneys for Fox and Croft. We'll also hear from the U.S. attorney as well. We're going to hear a lot about appeals. We're going to hear a lot about questions about potentially compromised jurors and FBI involvement in all this. Bottom line, though, right now, the jury has the say in this one. Fox and Croft guilty. Rhonda, back to you.
And Sean, do we have any idea? Would this be jail time? How much time could they be facing?
It's a huge deal. That's why we saw such a bitter fight in court. It's life in prison on these charges are the potential fines here, the potential penalties. Two other men involved say they're involved in this conspiracy. They avoided those life sentences by pleading guilty and cooperating with the government and testifying against Fox and Croft two different times. Those guys are getting around 6 to 8 years in prison. Fox and Croft are facing up a possible life in prison for each because the jury said these plans were not kidnapping the governor. They believed they were plans to be set in action.
All right, Sean, thank you for that update. Quite an outcome today. We will continue to gather reaction to this verdict from Grand Rapids and also in Lansing. And you can find continuing coverage on clickondetroit.com as well. We will have much more to come on Local 4 News first at 4 and also at 5.